What if I told you that our solar system contains far more worlds than the 8 planets we learned about in school? Hidden beyond Mars and far beyond Neptune are mysterious objects that don't quite fit the definition of a planet, yet they're much more than ordinary asteroids. They're called dwarf planets. Some contain underground oceans. Some have strange atmospheres that appear and disappear. Some may hold clues about how our solar system formed billions of years ago. And one of them was once considered the 10th planet before losing its title in one of the biggest controversies in astronomy. Today we're exploring every major type of dwarf planet, starting with the closest one to Earth, Ceres. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes a dwarf planet different from a planet, and why scientists believe there could be hundreds more waiting to be discovered. Let's begin. What is a dwarf planet? Before we explore the different types, we need to answer one important question. What exactly is a dwarf planet? According to the International Astronomical Union, a dwarf planet must meet 4 conditions. First, it must orbit the Sun. Second, it must be massive enough for gravity to pull it into a nearly round shape. Third, it cannot be a moon orbiting another planet. And fourth, it must not have cleared its orbital neighborhood of other objects. That final requirement is what separates dwarf planets from true planets. Earth dominates its orbit. Jupiter dominates its orbit. But dwarf planets share their regions with countless other objects. Currently, 5 official dwarf planets are recognized: Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris. But many astronomers suspect there may be dozens or even hundreds more. Let's start with the one closest to home. Type 1, asteroid belt dwarf planets, Ceres. Meet Ceres, the smallest officially recognized dwarf planet and the only one located in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Discovered in 1801, Ceres was initially classified as a planet, then an asteroid, and finally in 2006, a dwarf planet. Ceres is about 940 kilometers wide, making it much smaller than Earth's moon. Yet despite its size, it's incredibly fascinating. NASA's Dawn spacecraft revealed that Ceres contains large amounts of water ice beneath its surface. Scientists even found evidence of salty deposits and possible cryovolcanic activity. Cryovolcanoes don't erupt molten rock like Earth's volcanoes. Instead, they erupt water, ice, and slushy mixtures from below the surface. One mysterious mountain on Ceres, called Ahuna Mons, may be exactly that. Some researchers believe Ceres once had a global underground ocean. Others think pockets of liquid water may still exist today. This makes Ceres one of the most intriguing places in the inner solar system. But beyond Neptune lies an entirely different class of dwarf planets. Type 2, Plutinos, the Pluto family. The next category includes the most famous dwarf planet of all time, Pluto. Discovered in 1930, Pluto spent 76 years as the 9th planet. Then came the controversy. As astronomers discovered more Pluto-like objects beyond Neptune, they faced a problem. Either dozens of new planets would need to be added to textbooks, or Pluto would need a new classification. The result was the creation of the dwarf planet category. Today, Pluto belongs to a group called the Plutinos. These objects share a special orbital relationship with Neptune. For every 2 orbits Pluto completes around the Sun, Neptune completes 3. This gravitational rhythm keeps Pluto from ever colliding with Neptune despite their crossing orbital paths. But Pluto itself is anything but ordinary. The New Horizons mission transformed our understanding of this distant world. Scientists discovered enormous ice mountains, towering glaciers made of frozen nitrogen, a surprisingly active surface, and perhaps most shocking of all, possible evidence of a subsurface ocean hidden beneath layers of ice. Pluto's heart-shaped region, known as Tombaugh Regio, became one of the most iconic images in planetary science. Far from being a frozen dead world, Pluto turned out to be surprisingly alive with the geological activity. And Pluto is not alone. Many similar objects exist in the Kuiper belt, forming an entire family of Pluto-like dwarf planets. Type 3, classical Kuiper belt, dwarf planets, Makemake. Moving deeper into the Kuiper belt, we encounter another category, classical Kuiper belt objects, and their most famous representative is Makemake. Discovered in 2005, Makemake is roughly 1,400 kilometers across. It's one of the largest objects in the outer solar system. Unlike Pluto, Makemake has no large atmosphere most of the time. Its surface is covered with frozen methane, ethane, and other exotic ices. At temperatures below minus 230 degrees Celsius, these materials remain frozen solid. Makemake represents a relatively pristine relic from the solar system's early history. It's essentially a frozen time capsule preserving conditions from billions of years ago. Scientists believe studying worlds like Makemake helps reveal how planets originally formed, and in a sense, these distant objects are fossils from the birth of our solar system. But things become even stranger with the next category. Type 4, ellipsoidal dwarf planets, Haumea. If someone showed you a picture of Haumea, you might not believe it's a dwarf planet. That's because it doesn't look round. It looks stretched, almost like a cosmic football. Haumea is one of the strangest known worlds. It's roughly the same size as Pluto, but rotates incredibly fast. One complete rotation takes less than 4 hours. To put that into perspective, Earth takes 24 hours. This rapid spinning causes Haumea to become elongated instead of spherical. It's one of the fastest rotating large objects in the solar system. Haumea also possesses something once thought impossible for a dwarf planet, a ring system. For years, rings were associated only with giant planets like Saturn. Then astronomers discovered a ring orbiting Haumea. The dwarf planet also has 2 known moons and may have formed after a gigantic collision billions of years ago. That collision likely explains its unusual shape and rapid spin. Haumea reminds us that dwarf planets can be just as strange and complex as full-sized planets. And now we arrive at one of the most important discoveries in modern astronomy. Type 5, scattered disk dwarf planets, Eris. Meet Eris, the dwarf planet that changed everything. Discovered in 2005, Eris immediately caused a crisis in astronomy. Why? Because Eris appeared to be as large as, or even larger than, Pluto. If Pluto was a planet, then Eris should be one too. But astronomers knew many similar discoveries were likely coming. The solar system couldn't keep adding new planets forever. This debate directly led to Pluto's reclassification and the creation of the dwarf planet category. Eris resides in a distant region called the scattered disk. Objects here follow highly elongated and unusual orbits. Eris can travel billions of kilometers farther from the Sun than Pluto. At its most distant point, sunlight is incredibly faint. Yet despite its distance, Eris remains one of the most reflective objects known. Its icy surface reflects nearly all incoming sunlight. Scientists believe frozen nitrogen covers much of its exterior. In many ways, Eris serves as a reminder that our understanding of the solar system is still evolving. One discovery was enough to rewrite astronomy textbooks worldwide: the hidden dwarf planets. The 5 officially recognized dwarf planets may only be the beginning. Astronomers have identified numerous candidates, including Sedna, Orcus, Quaoar, Gonggong, Selassie, and many others. Some may eventually receive official dwarf planet status. Others could reveal entirely new categories of worlds. The farther we look into the outer solar system, the more objects we discover. Many researchers believe hundreds of dwarf planets may exist beyond Neptune, and some could be larger than anything we've found so far. There may even be undiscovered worlds waiting in the darkness beyond our current reach. When most people think of the solar system, they think of 8 planets. But the truth is far more interesting. We live in a solar system filled with diverse and mysterious worlds. Ceres, the icy ocean candidate, Pluto, the active frozen world, Makemake, the ancient cosmic time capsule, Haumea, the spinning football-shaped dwarf planet, and Eris, the object that changed astronomy forever. Each represents a different chapter in the story of our solar system's formation. And with every new telescope and space mission, we discover that these distant worlds are far more fascinating than anyone imagined. The question isn't whether we'll find more dwarf planets, it's how many are still out there waiting to be discovered. And somewhere in the darkness beyond Neptune, the next great discovery may already be orbiting the Sun.